welcome back to the second episode of the Plan B Esports talk show. Uh, Today it's just us two, and we actually wanted to have quite a different episode today. Unfortunately, however, the at
Yeah.
this point yearly tradition of Nintendo doing something stupid around this time of year happened again. So we talk about that instead, and afterwards about uh, what we were already planning, which was Rise and Grind. I'm Clemens,
And I'm Lancelot.
and today we unfortunately have to talk about the new Nintendo tournament guidelines.
Yeah. Obviously, we all agree the guidelines are bad. I think there's no way around or like way to sugarcoat it. I haven't read the full guidelines, but I've read like the most important like parts of it, like the parts like everyone has like talked about on Twitter. I think I understand around how it works myself. But you like read the whole document, right?
Yeah, I took it on me to read all of it. And I think there's some quite concerning stuff in there that not everyone has
Yeah.
seen. Uh, Although most of it is like just general tournament, what you would expect these guidelines
Yeah,
to
yeah,
look.
yeah.
So, for example, something I remember is, oh, don't do anything at tournaments that would hurt the brand of Nintendo. I mean, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I expect that to be in there. But however, I wrote down the most important points. I think I sent it to you earlier as well.
Yeah, I have them open here as well.
Yeah, so let's go through some of them. So the one that everyone knows about is the 200 participant cap for offline tournaments and 300 participant cap for online tournaments, which
Yeah.
I don't understand on like why would they do that level?
Yeah, it makes no sense, right? Like it's literally a random number,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that they came up with.
and I would understand if they did that for safety reasons, but
Yeah.
that can't
But
be
they don't
it.
mention that, right?
Yeah, they
Either.
don't mention it, but also why then have a cap for online tournaments?
Yeah, online tournaments, the part makes no
Yeah,
sense, right? Like why have a cap for online
yeah,
tournaments? Like literally just hinders like their like it hinders everything.
yeah. And the entry fee should be at most 20 euro per person. Uh, that's not gonna work.
Yeah, obviously.
So I think something that we have to mention beforehand about these guidelines is this is only for non-profit tournaments.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah,
So if you want to make money off of making tournaments, that's not possible anymore.
yes, that's the thing. I think many people have interpreted this as there are no guidelines for profit tournaments, but no, it very clearly states here that these are only for non-profit tournaments, and they currently do not allow for profit tournaments. It,
Yeah.
it, it says here, please note that Nintendo does not currently grant permissions for individuals to organize commercial tournaments. We ask for your understanding. I mean, eh, people whose livelihood depends on organizing events, I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna understand that.
Yeah. It's very bad because I know some tournament organizers definitely like organize tournaments to like at least to get some revenue out of them. I think Luminosity
Mhm,
like is because they like own let's make moves Miami and like let's make moves like let's make big moves. Like
mhm.
I think their plan was to make like money out of tournaments, but that it looks very bad for let's make big moves, right? Because it's in January, it's in 2024. So
Yes, and even then, I'm not sure how this will work exactly, since it very clearly states that tournaments are to be organized by individuals, not organizations.
yeah, exactly, right. That
And
too.
uh, I don't think that holds up in any legal kind of sense. I
Yeah.
don't see how that works legally. But also, it even says here in the Q&A section, which is also a part that I highlighted. Um, which one was it? That Yes.
The Q9,
Would
the
a
Q, yeah.
tournament organized by individuals but outsourced to a legal entity or organization for operation be permitted under these guidelines? And it says no,
Yeah.
which would also mean that, for example, you organize a streaming company that would also not be allowed.
Yeah, exactly. Like VGBC would
Yeah,
basically like not be allowed, right?
yeah.
That's what I got. That's what I also understood from that. From that.
Um, and also something that I think got overlooked almost the most is that tournaments where alcohol is served are not permitted at all, which
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is
means,
very bad for Europe
yeah,
in like like especially because like London has their biggest local in a bar.
yeah,
So does like Austria. You guys have Respawn.
yeah,
That's in a bar.
yeah,
Uh, Germany probably has some. I know us in Finland have a local in a bar.
mhm,
Our only local in our city right now is in a bar because the other one got cancelled.
yeah,
So yeah, it's really bad for locals, right?
yeah. I and that's also the point where I say, I mean, how are they gonna
Yeah,
control
right.
if we're doing it?
Yeah, I don't think there's no real way to control it, right?
Yeah,
Especially if there's no stream for it.
yeah,
So
yeah. We don't even have any face cam or microphones at Respawn, so it's right
yeah,
outside
exactly,
Respawn, guys. Don't worry, it just called Respawn.
exactly, exactly.
And what's also interesting is the branding part. If you have read that
Oh yeah,
n-
what was it like? Non-licensed tournaments, you can't like rep your organization, stuff like that too, right? Obviously, you can't accept sponsors,
yeah,
stuff like that. It's
on
very bad.
one hand, you can't name your tournament after a brand.
Oh yeah, that too, that too.
That's one thing. So like the Luminosity or whatever tournaments gonna have
Yeah.
branded differently, but also you can't use any of Nintendo trademarks to name your tournament. So for example, Super Smash Con probably has
Yeah,
to
but
change the
only,
name.
dude. Yeah, I thought about that, but like, can you really like Nintendo doesn't really own the word Smash, right? Like,
Yeah,
it could
yeah,
mean something else technically,
that's true.
right?
That's true.
Same with Super. You can make name it Super Smash Con, basically,
Yeah.
if you're being like kind of fucky about like kind of thinking about it more, But like Nintendo might go after Super Smash Con, especially since it's like a super big tournament, right?
Yeah. And also like every tournament that's called Smash at I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah,
you can realistically tell them to change the
yeah,
name.
yeah. I think that change is so dumb. Like as we all agree,
Yeah.
right? Like that makes no sense. It just makes sense to brand your tournament around Smash because there's Smash there,
Hmm.
right? So it makes like coming up with good tournament names a lot harder,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, that's true. That's
And
true.
wait, it was the same for if you want to advertise your tournament through like a trailer or something, right?
Yes.
Uh, you can't put like character portraits or like you, for example, you can't use a portrait of Zelda in the trailer, I believe, stuff like that. But you can use
Yes. Yes, I think
gameplay
so.
in the
Yeah. Yeah.
trailer.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, it is very dumb and makes that a lot harder for tournament organizers as well.
And also something else that's here that I mean, we already knew that there was a problem, and it doesn't concern Ultimate as much as Melee as is the
Mhm.
no pirated or illegitimate versions of the game, which is so with Melee. This is horrendous. So
It is so
it
bad.
is because in case you guys didn't know, uh, UCF Universal Controller Fix is kind of a mod that is used at almost any tournament, which fixes some irregularity. I think it could even in any way, shape, or form work like that. And then from what I also can tell is that the Japanese, European, and American version of these guidelines are exactly the same, which
Yeah.
obviously it doesn't work like that.
Yeah. It's like a different culture and everything.
It's like the laws are so different. I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, Nintendo probably has good lawyers which looked into that, but I just don't see how that would realistically all work out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, let's get to what that actually looks like in praxis. So yesterday, at least on Twitter, everyone it was absolutely doomer hours.
Yeah.
What do you personally think this means for us?
I think personally, like I said earlier, I think Ultimate is gonna be ultimately fine. Like if you saw the tweets from like AMSA and some other people, like Japan already like applied for some tournaments, and a tournament got like it approved like within 1 day or
Hmm.
something like that. Like approved very fast. And I think it was Sumabura, or
Hmm.
that's one monthly tournament, got like 10 next editions like
Yeah,
license.
yeah.
So it doesn't seem like it's too hard to get a license, at least in Japan. So I doubt it's too different
Hmm.
for America. I think it's gonna be a bit harder though, because Japanese tournaments don't have an entry fee
Hmm.
and stuff like that. So I don't know how the venues in itself work in Japan. I have no idea how they work, but it seems it's not that hard to get a license. I know the license application process opens in November in
Hmm.
America, right?
Yeah,
What I'm really scared about, that there's no date for that for Europe,
yeah.
right?
Because they
So
haven't
I'm
announced anything.
yeah, I think it's really scary because usually we don't have any big tournaments, at the start of the year in Europe, or at least like one or two. But this time we actually have like a big tournament in Norway,
Hmm.
right? And
Yeah, yeah,
Valhalla, and there's probably going to be something else too. Like France has to be cooking up something,
yeah.
or like Netherlands or
Obviously.
Germany. There has to be something, right? So it's really scary for those tournaments to be organized, right? Because they don't know when they'll get the license, and if they can organize it or at all, or if they should release it, stuff like that. I think it's very scary for those tournaments, but I think it'll be fine in the end. But what about you?
Yeah, so something we forgot to mention, I think, is this application we've been talking about is for tournaments who mm, will not adhere to these guidelines. So, for example, if you want to do a bigger tournament,
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah. Exactly, exactly.
that's what these applications are for. Um, and as I already mentioned, I don't think those rules will actually be enforced at most tournaments. Uh, However, something that gives me hope is that these first few applications in Japan have worked out so quickly, which is something that
Yeah,
I didn't expect at all. Something that does worry me is that only Japan has the application form yet.
yeah,
It's such a half-baked move, like as we kind of
yeah,
are to expect from Nintendo to release these guidelines without the form.
yeah. Just
and,
like release the form at the same time, right? Like,
and
you know,
also the fact that I want to get back to that in a moment to the which what Mero posted about like how the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
applications work, but to make this point very quickly, as we already mentioned, this is only for non-profit tournaments. There currently isn't even a forum for any other tournaments, which worries me a lot more because so about this non-profit tournament definition, it's kind of vague because
Very vague.
they said like, oh, it's okay to get like enough revenue to finance the event itself, which from what I understand also includes salary for workers, which is a great thing that they think about that most the people who work at events do so for money,
Yeah.
for monetary purposes. So it's kind of vague, but I have to wonder if, for example, since it's one of the next bigger tournaments, Genesis counts as a non-profit tournament.
Hmm. Yeah. I wonder if it counts. I don't have no idea how Genesis works. They're selling the I think I don't know how it actually works, but this year in the venue fee, right?
Mhm.
It also includes a top 8 ticket.
Oh,
So
right.
top 8
Yeah.
ticket and the top 8 ticket is like in like a different like in a theater or something.
Hmm.
Apparently the stage is like really insane.
Hmm.
That's what I heard Toph say on commentary. So I don't know if those tickets are like something that they would make profit of. Most likely, right? That was probably their
Yeah,
goal
I would have to think so.
because it's like in the theater. That's
Yeah.
probably like if
Yeah.
they sell tickets for it, it has to be for profit,
Yeah. At
right?
least the theater, which
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
at this point is an evolved organizer. So I have
yeah.
no idea.
No idea
This
either how it's gonna work out.
but something else I wanted to mention. Well, let me think about it. Yeah. So I don't know if you've had any contact to Nintendo Finland.
No, I think Nintendo Finland literally has zero connection to Smash in any form.
Okay.
It's like just super casual, like incredibly casual. From what I know, they like send games to YouTubers
Okay.
sometimes, like the
Okay.
newest, like Mario game or something.
Well, because we did have some communication with Nintendo Austria over the years.
Oh,
So
really? Okay.
yeah, I remember at like the first VCA, they provided
Oh, yeah, yeah,
they
yeah. I
provided
remember.
the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
switches for the demo version back then, and also at I think at the later VCAs they also provided switches. So I'm
Yeah,
kind of hopeful that it will ultimately work out for Austria, since I don't think they have a problem with, for example, respawn tournaments. Uh,
yeah.
and
I think I wanna
yeah,
I wanna talk about Nintendo of Europe for a bit
yeah,
because
sure,
I think we we both agree that Nintendo of Europe was pretty great,
yeah,
especially like pre-COVID.
yeah, yeah,
Like we had the circuit, we had the whole Smash Ball Team Cup thing,
yeah,
uh, and as you said, they provided switches for the next VCA after. But I remember they provided like 100 switches for Syndicate
yeah.
2019.
You're right, right,
That's why that tournament had so many setups.
yeah.
And Nintendo of Europe was really great. I met like talked to a few of the employees
Mhm.
too because of the whole Team Cup thing, and few of the Nintendo employees also came to the Nintendo circuit events as well to check things out. So I'm really surprised all of this is happening in Europe too, or like it's like always really surprising, right? Uh, when like all these good things happen, and then these bad things happen, right? Because there's so much support. There was just recently there was the Gamescom
Mhm. Yeah,
Invitational
yeah.
in Germany too, right? Like all of these great things are happening in Europe, so it's so surprising to me since Nintendo seemed to be going in a good direction in Europe at least,
Mhm.
but then this happens. So
Yeah, I mean, I have to think that these guidelines have to be enforced everywhere, and
yeah,
I don't know how much say Nintendo of Europe has in any of this, but they will ultimately be the enforcers of these rules in Europe, which
yeah,
I think that that's a good sign. And yeah, I also remember at the Smash Ball Cup talking to these employees, and they seemed genuinely interested in what we had to say.
yeah,
Like
exactly, right?
now that you mentioned, I remember talking to them at the Smash Ball Cup, and all of us, there were only competitive players, even if we had to use the Smash Ball, uh,
Yeah,
and I think all of us agreed that we didn't want the Smash Ball to return. So the next time it
yeah,
didn't. They just listened to us
exactly.
and uh, changed the rule set to
Yeah,
fit our needs. So this is actually a great sum, which I actually haven't thought about in a while. That Nintendo Europe does
yeah.
this a lot better.
Yeah, Nintendo of Europe is like sick. I think most European smashers would agree that they were like really, really, really nice to us, especially pre-COVID. I think if COVID didn't happen, like it would, like a lot of things would be different. A lot of things.
Yeah, I agree. It's even, dude. I'm still a little mad because my team qualified for the second
Yeah,
EU Cup, Yours too, I imagine.
No, 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 I didn't. Yeah,
Okay,
I didn't qualify for the
you didn't
finals,
qualify.
but
Oh, oh,
I didn't qualify. So I was
yeah.
kind of happy that it didn't happen. Later, I was would have been salty,
Yeah, no, but
but
I haven't heard from them ever since COVID.
yeah. Same
I
with the EU circuit,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
EU circuit just vanished.
yeah. They never announced anything, so I don't know what changed, but uh, there is some hope. I think. Uh, I uh, of course I don't fully trust Nintendo after everything these past few years
Yeah.
have happened, but you could interpret these guidelines as them wanting to be more involved with tournaments. I don't know. I don't expect it. I think that would be unnecessarily optimistic, an unnecessarily optimistic look at the situation which we're all coping with currently. But
Yeah.
in a perfect world, this means they want to help us. They want to know more about our tournaments so they can provide with assistance. But I don't expect that to happen.
Yeah, it's a super positive outlook.
Yeah,
They say that they want to be more involved because they want to be more involved in the worst way possible, right?
yeah, yeah.
So
But
that's the worst part.
you do have to ask why they're doing this now, which is
Yeah,
I have thought about, but I don't have an answer.
it's kind of like why now? Like out of every time,
Yeah, like
but
something that I thought could happen, because these are not the Smash tournament guidelines; these are the Nintendo tournament guidelines. Maybe they have something bigger planned. Like
yeah.
maybe they will announce Splatoon 4. No, probably not.
Splatoon 4. No, not
There's
Splatoon
not-
4.
no,
Splatoon 4 3 just came out like a
yeah,
year ago.
okay. Arms too, and they want to do big tournaments. I don't know. I don't know.
Dude, imagine they want to kill Smash and then they want to like sponsor Arms too. Nobody like I wonder how many copies Arms actually sold.
Yeah,
Like I have no idea how
yeah.
much it sold. No idea. Not well. That's for
I
sure.
don't think so. I really don't think so. I've never met anyone who actually enthusiastically has played ARMS.
Yeah, let me actually check right now how much it's sold.
So while Lance is checking that, I want to get back to this. What a good friend of the show. I don't know. He's at least our friend. Meru has said about the application process.
Meru.
Yeah, he currently lives in Japan, and he also
He's actually
speaks.
in Europe
Oh,
again.
he is okay. Okay, then why hasn't he
Yeah.
visited me? Whatever.
Yeah.
So
Fuck him.
yeah, uh, Meru has talked about what this application process looks like, since he does understand Japanese, and I currently can't open it for whatever reason.
Oh, it's very awkward to open a Word document.
Yeah, I have to look his account up. So he has talked about the application process, and apparently it works rather easily. But so as we have already mentioned, this form exists only in Japan at the moment. And do I have it? I can't find it. Did he delete it?
No way,
Okay, no, no,
what?
no, 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 I found it. So
Okay, good, 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 good.
So on the next page, Nintendo explains that this is the form to apply for a license and ask for your compliance to the guidelines, etc. In bold red letters, it says currently we are not accepting applications for a license for commercial game tournaments, so only non-profit. So even though this form exists in Japan, again, it is only for non-profit tournaments, and that I think is the biggest takeaway for anyone here. Uh, which I still think is very weird that they would
Yeah.
just do it for one kind of tournament, uh, since they have to follow that up with something, right? They know that, or maybe I don't know. Maybe they're baiting us, and they just say, "Oh, one day there will be a forum for commercial tournaments," and it just never comes out.
Yeah. Hopefully. I don't know.
So there's like these options for uh, note that if you click option 2, tournament for game stores, option 3, media related organizations, or option 4, commercial for profit corporation, it will ask you to return saying you cannot apply currently. And there's also option 7 for organizing tournaments if you're an influencer. It will refer
That
you
is
to
so
the,
funny.
yeah. Nintendo seems so aware of everything, right?
Yeah.
It's so funny because you would also always think that they have like these old fashioned views, but no, they absolutely know what they're talking about when it
Yeah,
comes
if
to
you know
this.
the word influencer, they are not old fashioned. That's for sure.
So and also there are like multiple Switch titles, which I think is very interesting because there's tournaments for 1-2 Switch, Arms, Tetris 99, but not Melee. It's only Switch tournaments.
Yeah.
And also something I'm not entirely sure. Uh, you do lose some rights over a piece of work once you've like abandoned it, from what I
Oh yeah, I saw
understand.
non tweet about it.
Yeah,
If you abandon a product for like 20 years or something, you lose some rights to it. But
yeah.
Nintendo still owns like the characters and stuff, so
Okay,
I
okay.
think there was something like it's not really like a full on loophole, you know, that they can't do anything about Melee.
Yeah,
Unfortunately. It would
that's
be sick though that they could
that
just
would
not
be
do anything about
so
Melee. Melee.
funny. Like, yeah, no, there was this idea of just recreating Melee with original characters, but yeah, no, I don't think that's gonna work out.
Yeah, I doubt it.
And well, and this form is like very seems very complete. So you can ask, uh, so you have to put in like the basic information about the tournament, like name, where will it take place, when will it take place. And here's, after agreeing you will comply to the guidelines, you can request a modification of the guidelines. You can ask for an increase in max number of players, an increase in entrance fee of participants and explain why, and of spectators, and something else you want to modify. So I think that's overall a good sign, especially if this so many Japanese tournaments have been approved in such a short
Yeah,
amount of
exactly,
time.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think what I can ultimately say is what's going to happen. I have no idea. It entirely depends on how they will enforce it. And like something else I want to say is a common sentiment I have seen from people who are like not that much in the Smash scene is, oh, tournament guidelines like these are very normal. Capcom has similar ones, which I can't comment on. I haven't read the Capcom guidelines. And sure, maybe that's true. The problem is Nintendo is still Nintendo, and if Capcom approves every tournament, that doesn't mean that Nintendo will approve every tournament. And
Exactly, right?
that's what it will ultimately end up depending on if this is a bad thing.
Yeah. We'll see what Nintendo will do. That's what I'm most scared of. Like I don't think we talked about enough about the online tournament stuff either,
Hmm.
because it hurts Coinbox a lot. Because
Yeah,
I really don't think Coinbox will get licensed, or at least not Melee
yeah.
because of Sleepy, right? And they have a Coinbase as sponsor, which is like a crypto sponsor, and I don't know how okay Nintendo would be with that, you know.
Yeah.
So I think it's really bad for Coinbox and stuff like that. And you know, we have IB games in Europe as well.
Hmm.
I don't know what's gonna happen with that. Maybe IB will get a license and it'll be all good. I have no idea how it'll go, but I really hope we can keep like the online scene won't get affected too much either, because it's a huge part in the Smash scene, right? Of
Yeah.
getting like people get to play our game. That's like that's how a lot of people start, right? Like
Hmm.
they enter an big online tournament first. Like like a lot of people probably got into the scene because of Coinbox,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
what I would guess. So I really hope our online scene doesn't get affected in a bad way either.
Yeah, and something else I actually haven't thought about too much is these all these tournament applications are for individual tournaments, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
you would have to approve, for example, every single edition of IB games, not just IB games in general. This
yeah.
seems super annoying.
I think since like we talked about earlier, the Japanese tournament organizers could like approve the next 10 editions
Hmm.
of the tournament series. You could probably do something similar for something like IB Games and
Yeah.
Coinbox as well. I doubt it. I doubt they'll like stop you applying it like multiple tournaments of the same series
Hmm.
that are like weekly or bi-weekly. You know.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And I think another way this might hurt the scene in is I could see bigger fighting game tournaments which just happen to have Smash there, just might not bother anymore.
Oh yeah, that's true. I haven't even thought about that either. Like CEO,
Yeah,
unless they like don't care about Smash enough. But I think like CEO will care because I think the main TOG barely likes Smash. You
yeah,
know, obviously we don't have Evo anymore anyway. I don't have no idea about Combo Breaker, how they it'll affect Smash.
yeah, and
Uh,
I don't know, maybe even another thing, how will this even work? Like, let's say you have
yeah,
a Street Fighter tournament with 400 entrants and you have a Smash bracket with 30 entrants. Does that have
yeah.
to be approved?
I
I
have no idea how it'll work.
so
No idea.
yeah, I don't know either, and I know there's like a lot of smaller fighting game tournaments in Europe going on, which just have like again like 20 tournament smash, 20 participant smash practice. So I don't know how it will work.
Yeah. No idea.
So we
Uh,
just have a lot of questions, and we don't know what's going to happen. Is the
yeah,
takeaway?
I think next month we'll get a lot of answers,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah,
And it's kind of crazy that I think next month we also have a lot to talk about EU tournament wise because we have three big tournaments in November that are actually unaffected by all of this, which is great.
yeah.
So we have UFA, VCA, and Tech Republic. So that's a lot to talk about as well.
Yes, and I think to have this after this like somewhat somber tone during the entire episode, I think we have earned a few minutes of talking about your run at Rise and Grind, right?
We can talk about it at the end for like a little bit
Yeah,
because it wasn't very long, right?
yeah,
The longest run. EU though, Tariq and Galuto had great runs as Rise and Grand,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
I think one funny thing to mention is Adrian, the Pokemon trainer that went
Hmm.
there. He got the same placing as our goat Humming Bee. They both got 97th,
Yeah.
which I think is hilarious because Adrian is obviously a very solid player. Humming Bee barely plays the game. Actually, his last tournament he entered was the previous Rise and Grind,
Hmm.
and then he just gets the same placing. I think it was super funny.
Yes, right.
Uh,
I remember that. Yeah.
yeah, but as for me, I got 33rd right. Uh, Lost to Dabas and Goblin. Kind of an unlucky bracket.
Hmm.
I think I could have won both of my sets. Unfortunately, I wasn't once on stream, but if you watch the recorded sets,
Hmm.
I had two last hit games versus Dabaz, which were both very winnable, especially the first game,
Hmm.
since there was an interaction where I did short up side B on his shield, and I didn't believe enough on the read. He dropped shield on my turn hit of side
Mm.
B, but I didn't fully commit to my side B, and I lost that game because of it. Uh, and against Goblin, it was game 5, right? So it's really even more doable. But
Hmm.
all the games he won, he kind of fucked me up.
Okay.
Can't lie.
Hmm.
It was like game 5 3 stock, game 3 low percent 2 stock. Game 1 I SD'd very early,
Okay.
so that's why he won. He won that. But those were all both doable sets. Like I think I share a very different take from a lot of other Europeans about the skill level of
Yeah.
America,
Yeah.
where I don't think they play like that different or do something like super special. They just are like more solid. They just stick to their game plan like
Hmm.
a lot more. Like you just if you would play if it wasn't the best of 5 and it was like a first to 10,
Hmm.
it might be a lot more doable,
Okay.
right? Uh but also they would also have the chance to adapt, obviously. But I think we're like the skill level difference is not like that like big. because I did not feel like Dabas was like a lot better than me.
Okay,
I did
okay.
not feel like
That's actually something I want
Goblin.
to ask. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I did not feel like it's like something I could have beaten Dabas. It was just a few things that like made him win. Like it's only small things.
Yeah.
Like maybe I could probably make it like less close. I should make it less close in a matchup like Roy Rosalina, which is really bad for Rosa.
Hmm.
Right, Dabas is just a good player and better than me for now, so that's why he won.
Yeah, and also I think Tarek's performance reflects this as well because he got fifth at Rise
Hmm.
and Grind, which is about the place he normally places in Europe.
Yeah, actually better than
Yeah.
in Europe, which is funny to say. I think his first top eight of the year was actually at King of Fields, or like first top eight
Right.
in years
Yeah.
in Europe actually,
Yeah.
and now he placed fifth at Rising Grand.
That's right. I forgot he was in a bit of a slump earlier uh, at
Yeah,
Icarus, for example. So yeah, that's amazing. And also because I think he got ninth
at
place.
Rising Grand he got fifth.
Yeah, at Rising Guard he got fifth, and then at the Big House he got ninth place. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
that's both are amazing performances.
yep. Like he beat, I think at Rising Grind at Big House, it was kind of not as stacked as Rising Grind, right?
Yeah,
Because everyone dropped out. But I think at Rising Grind uh, he beat Geist, then lost to Mutace. He had one win before that. I think Shu. He beat Shu actually.
yeah, yeah,
He beat Shu, Geist, and then it was Jazzo for top eight, and then he had one more win over Shedik,
yeah,
who are like all very good players.
yeah,
And all of these set wins he had outside of Geist was game five, but the other ones were 3-0
yeah,
wins. And then he unfortunately had to play Gluto, who is like Wario is a really good hard matchup for Greninja, and Gluto obviously is really good at the game.
yeah.
So
We don't even have to talk about Gluto. Gluto got second again.
yeah, he's cracked. We all know
Yeah.
he doesn't need more spotlights. You know,
Maybe I
he's
mean if he's I what I do want to mention is uh I think Pluto is currently the closest to being number one he's ever been. Is what
yes.
I feel like. So maybe he will have to give him a spotlight pretty soon.
Soon, probably maybe after November. I think he's going to port priority, from what I know. And port priority, if he wins port priority and maybe he wins Watch the Throne or something, then he literally could be number one for the year.
Yes,
Like actually,
he's currently like third or fourth, I think. Uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's between him and Spargo, so
yeah.
kind
I think
of.
the thing that sucks for him though is literally like Sonics, Mia, and Akola are all obviously very good players, but they're all very bad matches for Wario.
Yes, yes,
So it makes him it's like it. He has to like kind of rely on bracket luck sometimes, or he has to dodge them, or just play a lot better than them,
yeah,
right? Because he does very well against Tweak, does very well against Spargo, all those players.
yeah. I agree. I think dude, that's what's so surprising to me. Why he's doing so well right now is because it's kind of the anti-Gluto meta.
Yeah, it
with,
is. It
with
is.
like nothing worse could have happened for Gluto than Mia becoming a top two player in the
Yeah,
world.
it's very bad for him. It sucks. It sucks. But he'll figure something out. I believe. I believe.
Yeah, he always does. So
Yeah.
last thing, let's talk about let's make moves. What's this one
Oh,
called? They're always
Miami. Let's make moves. Luminosity makes moves. Miami.
luminosity. Yeah,
We can kind of wrap the episode up with that.
yeah, because we do
Oh,
have a few Europeans there.
yeah. We have Longo and Tariq. I think that's it for Europeans.
Really, is there no one else going? Okay,
No, no, I'm kind of surprised no one else. But I think every other, like Andres, Siski, they're going to port priority instead.
okay, okay.
So, and Tariq is going to be there as well.
Yeah,
That term is also going to be stacked, but we'll talk about that another time.
yeah. So hopefully we can talk about their amazing runs next episode. Uh,
Yeah.
but we will definitely. I don't know. Is it Longo's first time in America?
For Ultimate, I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah. He was at like
Unless
1-2 GG Saga. I want to
he was at
say.
a few like tournaments in Smash 4
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure. I can't remember him going to America in during Ultimate though.
yeah. Me
Yeah.
neither.
But
So
yeah, Longo's first time, I think he's seated fairly high. I think I always like that nowadays. Bigger tournaments they give like the people who travel from further away, they like seed them well,
yeah,
like regardless. Just give them like a little bit of respect. I think that's always nice. Like I was seed like 25 for Rise and Grind, for example. That's
yeah.
fairly high,
I was kind of
right?
surprised, not because I don't think you deserve it, because historically Europeans have been
Yeah,
seeded kind of badly, but lately it's gotten a lot better.
exactly right. But yeah, Luminosi makes moves. Very stacked. Steve band tournament, right?
Yeah,
I think low key, I got Sonics winning.
yeah, I can see it. I can see it. I, dude, something else I want to mention about Sonics. Now that we haven't mentioned, did you know that he hasn't actually played against Mia this year or at
Yeah.
all? So
Okay, not against Akola either.
yeah, so
Yeah.
he might be like, if they do go to the same tournament, he's also someone who could theoretically be number one at one point. Although I don't think this season
Yeah.
it's still
There's a
doable.
chance.
But yeah, Sonic's I think is a good call. Uh, might depend on who makes grand final.
Yeah. I think who else is there he would struggle with? I don't know, Spargo and Sonics obviously go like back and forth.
I mean,
But I
Light
don't know.
is
Oh, Light is there. I forgot.
probably a
Light,
bad
Light.
matchup.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah,
Light is a bad matchup for
yeah.
him.
Yeah, but aside from that, I couldn't really tell you.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's gonna be a crazy good tournament to spectate, regardless.
Yeah,
There's only 500 entrants. I thought it had
yeah,
way
no,
more.
but it's mega stacked.
It's super stacked, but it doesn't have that many entrants. What the hell?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like the late Smash life cycle tournaments are those where like you have to play against a super good player round two. Assembly
Yeah.
like you had to play against Red in round two of
Oh yeah, yeah. Rat,
Rising
very
Blast.
good. Pichu, who was just seated very low because I don't think he attends much.
Yeah.
So
And something interesting I currently see, I'm looking at uh, I'm not gonna say the name, the moves bracket. Uh, Tariq is seeded to lose against Shaddick, which is interesting because, as we just talked about, Tariq beat Shaddick at uh,
yeah.
Rise and Grind. So
Yeah, Tariq is also seated to play Anathema. I think Loki he beats Anathema.
yeah, I
So
agree. I agree. I don't think Anathema has like great Green Ninja experience.
yeah, I talked to Anathema a bit at Rise of Grand, and I heard he doesn't really like fighting Greninja either.
Yeah.
So
But Longo, unfortunately, has to play the boss in pools, which I'm not
he's
gonna
gonna get the run back
say.
for me.
Hopefully, yeah. It's not the easiest matchup you can have, and then loses. He has to play against Shu, which also not that great for Rob.
Yeah, I think Shu is very doable though.
Yeah, yeah,
Very, very doable. And then after, if he beats Shu, he has to play Big Boss. That's funny, actually.
that would be hilarious to see. Yeah,
It would be hilarious.
but we're gonna wish both of them good luck for this tournament. We're absolutely looking forward to maybe featuring them in a future episode because the run was so great.
Yeah.
And also next time we're probably going to talk about multiple American tournaments and how Europeans did there, or depending on what happens at our European tournaments.
Yeah.
So today's episode, I mean, I want to say is a bit of an exception, but it's only the second episode, so it's kind of hard to say. But we will focus more on tournaments in the future. Just Nintendo guidelines were such a big topic that we felt like we couldn't just leave it out from today's episode.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So
hopefully next time this thing is kind of solved.
Yeah, hopefully next time we have like a 5-minute addendum. Oh, everything's fixed now. Let's get back to tournaments. So thanks for joining us, and hopefully we will see you next time again.
Yeah, see you guys.